We are here today to announce that we do have a budget agreement for our budget this year for the fiscal year 2014, and we have all been working very hard to talk, to negotiate, to collaborate, and to work with the numbers facing our budget this year. It's been, I think, an enormously successful legislative session. We have an early budget agreement, which is remarkable for our state. It's another sign that the people's business is getting done at the state capitol in a timely way and sufficient and effective way. I want to thank Speaker Shannon for his work and President Pro Tem Bingman for their leadership and their partnership with my office and working together to help make this budget agreement early and certainly on time. One of the best ways that we can spur economic growth in the private sector is to allow people to keep more of their money in their pocket and allow that money to stay in the private sector itself. And so that's why we have targeted our spending increases, but yet also limited spending and created more efficiency and effectiveness in other areas of growth and in our state government itself and to our state agencies. We need to continue to focus on ways to make government more efficient, smarter, more effective, and to allow the private sector to grow. We all recognize, though, that there are different divisions in state government that have had budget decreases in the past years and that have certain needs and that are priorities for us and need more resources. So chief among those priorities for our state has been education, and making sure that we fund the education reforms that we have passed over the last several years. We also realize that education has taken cuts in the past years during the recession that we went through. Healthcare is certainly a top priority for our state, mental health services, child welfare services, and also infrastructure.
First, I want to thank publicly again Governor Mary Fallin and President Pro Tem Bingman for their leadership and helping to craft this budget. And I don't want to belabor the points that Governor Fallin has done a great job of covering just a few of the many highlights of this budget, but I will just add some historical context to it. When we started this legislative session, we were facing requests from state agencies of over $1 billion in requests, and we knew very early on we were never going to be able to reach that number, but certainly we've narrowed down some real priorities, and one of them being education. You know, we've heard it time and time again from not just parents and young people, but we've heard it from businesses across the state that we need to keep the investments that we're making and investing in our young people, and I'm happy to say this budget reflects that. Also, some historical data that I would, also point out as we face this budget and crafting it was the impact of this crumbling capital facility that we were looking at, and we've been able to address that need. But in addition to the 120 that will be realized from delaying the income tax 1 year, we've also invested through this budget an additional $30 million for the Long Range Planning Commission to start addressing some of the other infrastructure needs that we have around the state as well. And so I'm very proud that we were able to do it in a way that obviously addresses and meets the needs that we saw coming from our caucus. We met back in December in Medicine Park and came up with a caucus strategic plan, and we have covered all three areas of that strategic plan, I think, in a way that is systematic, that is long-term, and is futuristic. And I'm so honored to have gotten to participate in this process with the men and women you see standing behind me. And I will at this point turn it over to Pro Tem Bingman.
3 months and 2 days it took us to get a budget. I mean, that doesn't happen very often. It's probably been a long time since we've had an agreement this early in session. But in reality, that process started last November when our appropriations chairman and the subcommittees all got together and started bringing agencies in for the review. And then once we started in session, subcommittees did their jobs. And as the speaker said, we had $1.2 billion in requests. We only had, when you take the $60 million off for the capital, we had under $200 million actually of growth money to work this budget. And again, a lot of the credit needs to go to the appropriations chairman for the House and to the Senate. Great effort they did, along with the finance director, Preston Dorflinger, who's privileged to work with all three of them. I do want to say a special thank you to Chairman Jolly and to Ron Justice, the Vice Chairman, in the Senate. Made my job very easy. So it's easy for me to stand up here today and say, you know, well done, gentlemen. Y'all did a great job, and certainly made my job a lot easier.